is really quite wonderful that you have all decided to have a reunion after 15 years. I don't think anybody, when we started doing the show, had any idea that this would ever happen. Battlestar Galactica was a major milestone in my life, in so much as the fact that I had, well, I guess I should go back further from the very beginning. I'm an American. I was born in France. Everything okay? You want it better over there? Okay. And my stepfather was an American, and my mother was French, and so I was born with dual citizenship. And I stayed in Europe for the formative years of my life, and I ended up going to the University of Paris, where I got a degree in costume design and another degree in historical apparel. And so I spent most of my years in Europe until I was like 13, and then I came to the States, and then after I got out of school here, I went back to the University of Paris, the Beaux-Arts. And then I started working, and I worked on a lot of different films over in France, and I was a sketch artist for Barbarella. If you guys buy this, the whole story is in here. Anyway, when I had come to the United States in like 1970, and all the credits that I had in Europe did me absolutely no good, and I had to start practically all over again here in Los Angeles. And I designed for theater and won several Drama Critics Awards, and had done a couple of films, a film with Henry Fonda, one of his very last films that was released is The Great Smoky Roadblock, and a Chuck Norris film called Good Guys Wear Black. But these were very small, low-budget films, and when I was called to Universal to come in to see Glenn Larson, who had an infamous reputation for not really getting along with costume designers because he has a working situation in which he changes his mind continually. And Glenn would approve something and then want something else and then still want something more. And I remember even after years of working with Glenn, I never got comfortable with it. We were doing another series years later called, I think it was The Fall Guy at Fox. And I came to work one morning and one of the costumers, my assistant, said to me, "Where's the 4 bikinis for the beautiful girls in the hot tub?" And I went, "What 4 beautiful girls in the hot tub? It's not in the script." And they went, "Oh, Glenn just sent word down that he wants these 4 beautiful models in bikinis in the hot tub." And we were shooting this an hour from that time. I mean, this is how Glenn was. So when I came in to see Glenn for Battlestar Galactica, I had heard a lot of war stories about Glenn. But we got along fabulously, and I was thrilled that they offered me Battlestar Galactica because it was like going to be the biggest thing that was to ever happen for television at that time. Star Wars had come out, and I had not seen Star Wars, but they wanted a show that was only science fiction in its concept, not a copy of Star Wars, which so many people think what Battlestar Galactica was, but those words were never even mentioned to us, that they wanted it to look vaguely at all like Star Wars. And then, all of a sudden, Battlestar Galactica wasn't going to go. And they called me and they said, "We're not going to do Battlestar Galactica after all here at Universal, but we'll give you another project." And they gave me a wonderful miniseries called The Bastard that was all 1776 clothes. And I was 3/4 of the way through The Bastard when all of a sudden Galactica got the green light to go ahead again. And there I was, designing a 1776 clothes and then starting with science fiction clothes. And at the same time, Glenn was doing another show that he had also asked me to do things on called, I can't remember the name of it. It was, I want to say King of Diamonds or something like that. Jack of Spades. I mean, it was with, what? No, it wasn't Ace of Spades. It was a TV series with Jack Rambo, and I can't remember the name of it. What? Sword of Justice, right. Thank you very much. So here I was ending up doing 3 different shows with all different looks all at the same time, and I'd go home at night, have nightmares that I was going to be sending actors in Marie Antoinette costuming down to where they were supposed to be Cylons. So anyway, it was quite a challenge, and it was a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very, very grateful that I had the opportunity to do it, because it sure made a major difference in my life. It had a lot of positive aspects. It had a lot of negative aspects in the fact that after I did Battlestar Galactica, that's all anybody thought I could do, and I had to start turning down things. I was signed to do the movie Flash Gordon, and when they changed directors and Nicholas Rowe dropped out, I was real grateful, because I really didn't want to do it. I had, by that time, done Galactica and Buck Rogers and something else I can't remember, and so I stopped doing science fiction for that very reason, so you don't get pigeonholed, as so often happens in this business. Anyway, why don't we take a look at some of the slides, and I'll describe them to you and tell you stories about the costumes as we go along, and then after we're through, you can ask me any of the questions you want to, okay? Let's have the first one. I think you all know who this is. This is Lorne Greene in his commander's outfit. Lorne was very wonderful to work with. He was also very funny in his own way, without intentionally being so. When he came in for a fitting with this, he said to me, "Jean-Pierre, this is a wonderful costume, except you have to remember that I am a commander and a man with 3 sons and a daughter, and I need to have a very imperious feeling about this, and don't you think we could maybe make the coat into like a long tunic so I could put my thumbs up here like this?" And I went, "Lorne, this is not the Ponderosa." You want to go on to the next, yes? These slides have been sitting in a box for like 10 years, and now I think this is backwards. And they're dusty, and so she blows them off. You know what? I think you could just load them all, and then we could just change them faster, because I don't think you're going to see the dust at this great a distance. This is Richard as Apollo in his warrior uniform that was the dress version. Actually, as it started out, the blue version was going to be the dress version, and the brown was going to be the warrior costume. And then Glenn did not want to have them change from brown to blue to go down to the casino on Carillion. So at the very last minute, he wanted me to do something that would dress up the uniform. And he didn't want them in a coat or another jacket. He wanted something that was loose and would not impede their actions. And that is where the cape came in. It was not a full cape. It was just the back cape that draped over the shoulders and was joined at the front with a necklace that we found that was a very old Egyptian necklace, and we just had it copied in a place called Studio Art Metal, where they copy all the things. It's a very, very funny story about their belt and the little gold little things that are on the belt. Actually, what they were marks-a-lots, and one of my assistants, Mark Peterson, sprayed them gold one day and said, "What do you think of these to put on the belt?" And we went, "Hey, looks good to me." So we stuck them on the belt. As when they were doing the series, Annie Lockhart, who's been a very close friend of mine even before we did the series together, she told me last night for the first time that the actors on set used to laugh, and they used to make jokes about them and say that if they ran out of laser beams, they'd take off their marks-a-lots and write dirty letters to the enemy. Let's go to the next one. Lloyd Bridges. The only thing that's really different about his costume was the braid on the shoulder pad and the ascot as opposed to the neck piece that was like most of the rest of the warriors had. The neck pieces on all the costumes were copied after early Phoenician neck plates that they used to wear, like the Egyptians used to wear neck plates. This is Lorette as Cassiopeia in her first costume as a socialator, I believe they termed her. She didn't remain a socialator very long in the series. The network wasn't too thrilled about her occupation. So as any of you know who've seen the show, she became a nurse or a med tech very quickly. And henceforth ended up in this very sterile-looking lab dress that was not at all like any of the clothes she'd been wearing before, such as this. It was very, loose, and she liked to twirl around a lot in that. If you've seen the original movie, the pilot saga of A Star World, when Lorette goes to the Viper Bay with Starbuck, she turns around, and that was all Lorette's doing. She told me in the fitting room, she said, I love this dress, and I love the cloak on it. And she said, I'm going to turn around and make certain that they'll see the whole thing on film, and she did. She was really a sweetheart to work with. This was like probably one of my very favorite dresses in the whole show. It was done out of a crinkle silk. We call it the celery dress because she looks like she's wearing celery. And it moves so beautifully. It was a really difficult dress to make. The women in the workroom absolutely hated me for this dress. Every strip on the dress was made as a strip first, with fabric on both sides, with the seams inside the two panels together, and then it was appliqued onto a body form so that it could be strapless, because there was the ruff around the shoulders did nothing to hold the dress up. It was just decorative. And then it was, as I said, secured to like a bathing suit underneath so that you could see as much leg as you did. It was quite a construction piece. This is Maren Jensen as Athena. This was her casino dress. This original sketch now is in Paris in the museum there. There's several of these sketches that are no longer in existence. They've been sold off to collectors. Los Angeles County Museum owns a couple of them too. This is Serena in her change that she goes down to the casino in. I just was in the showroom next door, and they have a copy of this dress. I didn't even know it existed still. The costumes on Battlestar Galactica, which thousands and thousands were made, we made something like 250 costumes a week, are all gone. I mean, with the exception of the things I have in my own collection. And what you see next door, the rest of them are all gone. All the civilian costumes that the Capricans and all the people that they rescued who were aboard the Galactica, all of those costumes disappeared before the show was even over with. The extras absolutely fell in love with them. I have some photographs of them at the end here, and then we'll talk about it more when we get there.